Welcome to A Miracle Silver Wolf written by D-Max. She's accused of killing the only friend she had in the pack, the princess. Tamia is tortured and mistreated until the Lycan king rescues her and claims her as his mate. Killian has spent years looking for his mate who is believed to be the only salvation to break the curse of bloodlust. He finds her, but she's broken and shattered. This is a story about a silver wolf who is given a second chance to life and a second chance to love. It's the third day since I decided to kneel here until the Alpha grants me an audience. I have to explain to him that I didn't kill Alana. Although nobody seems to believe me or buy my story, that's the truth. I would never think of killing the princess. How could I? She's the only person who ever showed me kindness in this pack. I suggest you leave from here. Your face will only make the Alpha more angry. A warrior guarding the gate advised, but I shook my head. I will leave after the Alpha grants me an audience. I stubbornly replied, I have to clear my name. If the Alpha is hell-bent on banishing me from the pack, I will accept it, but that's after he listens to me. I have nothing holding me back here. My father, the only parent I have had all my life after the death of my mother, was murdered brutally in front of my eyes. He died all thanks to me. The Alpha said that it was to make me feel the same pain he did when I killed his daughter. Since she wants to stay here so much, have her thrown into the dungeons. Casper, the beta of the pack, ordered coldly, a look of disgust on his face. I don't know why looking at me would evoke such disgust in him. Was it because of my dirty clothes and unkempt hair? After all, 3 days exposed to all elements of weather would definitely not do me any good. It could be out of hate too. He loathed my very existence. With his order, I was pushed off the ground and thrown to the dungeons. I will make you experience a life worse than death, Casper promised. I could understand his pain for losing his mate. Alana and I were 19 years old and had found our mates. She was mated to Casper, her brother's beta, while my mate was Logan, the Alpha. Even before my alleged crime, Logan loathed the idea of us being mates. I don't blame him. As an Alpha, how could he accept a lowly servant Omega like me as his mate? Although his rejection and indifference towards me hurt me, I knew better than to expect anything from him. Alana, on the other hand, was happy about the news. Casper treated her like the queen of his heart. They had mated and she was even expecting their pup. We had gone hunting into the woods with Alana as usual. It was something she did when bored, and as her loyal servant and friend, I always accompanied her. Fate brought us together when I was 5 years old. Alana helped me when some boys bullied me. She protected me, helping me from the ground where I lay helpless. Today is my birthday. Would you like to join me in my birthday party? She had asked the 5-year-old me, and I nodded enthusiastically. Coincidentally, it was also my birthday. The princess and I shared a birthday. That's how the friendship between Alana and I developed. We remained friends and I served as her personal maid. She never treated me like a servant. I don't know what happened that day. All you remember was something hitting my head and I fell unconscious. When I woke up next, I was holding a knife coated with blood. Alana's body lay motionless beside me with several stabs which were still bleeding. She was dead. Amidst my confusion, the Alpha and his warriors arrived, branding me as the killer. I tried explaining that I didn't kill her, but with the evidence glaring at me, who would believe me? I was lost in my thoughts when the door to the dungeon rattled open. I was dragged out of the dungeon, chained with silver chains on my legs before I was sent to join the other slaves in the fields. When will the Alpha see me? I asked the warrior dragging me. I needed to see Logan and explain to him that I was innocent. I suggest you know your place, woman. Seeing you will only remind the Alpha of the atrocities you have committed. He's trying to heal from the loss of his sister. The warrior spat, dislike evident in his voice. You should be thankful that he kept you alive. He added what sounded like a warning. What was the need of keeping me alive and torturing me with the death of the two most important people in my life? When do I get the chance to mourn their death? The guilt of knowing that I caused my father's death has been gnawing at me endlessly. It feels worse than death itself. Casper made sure to make my life a living hell as he promised. I was forced to work all day long in the fields without any food. At night, I would be served with whips for dinner. The silver chains restricting me did nothing to help me in healing. That was not the only torture I received. Anytime the beta was in a bad mood, he would personally torture me and make sure I pass out from the pain. It's been weeks and the pain and torture has been increasing each day. Casper turned me into his sex slave, forcing himself on me anytime he's drunk. Logan has allowed everything to happen without saying anything. He takes pleasure from my pain. I have caught him countless of times watching me being tortured and raped by his men. Everybody in the pack avoids me, calling me a murderer. My wolf, unable to take the pain and torture, retreated to the back of my mind. My pathetic human body can't do anything to heal my wounds, which have been piling up day after day. I can't do anything but cry in silence. Nobody wants to believe that there was a third person in the forest that day who knocked me unconscious before stabbing the princess. The only thing keeping me alive and going is Alana's sweet smile in my dreams. She visits me in my dreams, smiling at me with encouragement. I am sorry, Alana. I am giving up on this fight. Please forgive me for not making your killer pay the price. The following day, I woke up battered as always. The whips and torture last night was too much, not to talk of the wolfsbane my mate ordered to be injected into me. The searing hot pain burning my body made my eyes moist with tears. The clanking sound of the chains binding my legs was the only sound echoing as I dragged my tired body to the fields. I had regained conscious late today, and for that, I was late to go to the fields. I know that it will be a cause for another wave of torment, not like I cared anymore. I would still be punished even without doing anything. Who do you think you are to laze around until this hour? Logan's ice-cold voice made me halt in my steps. He rarely talks to me, even when each word he says is venomous. I'm sorry, it won't happen again, I replied with a low voice. At this point, I have given up proving my innocence because I have realized nobody will believe me, not even my mate. He is my mate, and even if he doesn't approve of us being mates, he should at least believe that I am incapable of harming the princess. I expected him to believe me even when everybody else didn't. He knew my character since I practically grew by his sister's side. You should have left this pack when I gave you the chance to, yet you chose to remain here. Blame your stubbornness for all the misery you have gone through. Logan spat, distaste laced in his words. I didn't kill Alana. I would never do such a thing to her, I said for the 1000th time. It doesn't matter how many times they accuse me, my answer will always remain the same. In the next second, Logan was by my side, his hands strangling my neck as I struggled to breathe. My eyes met his and I could see the deep hatred and anger directed to me. You have always been jealous of the life my sister had. You had every reason to kill her, bitch. Pretending to be her friend was your ploy all along, to kill her. The venomous words left Logan's mouth, making my eyes widen. How could he come up with such absurd allegations? I was never jealous of the princess. Logan pushed me harshly and my limp body landed with a thud. I gasped for air, my hands going to my neck, which by now I knew must have been bruised. Logan, you have to believe me. I really didn't kill Alana. You are my mate. Why won't you believe me? I cried out in frustration. Shut up. Logan kicked me, sending me flying a few meters away. I will kill you if I hear you utter that rubbish again. I am no mate to a weak, pathetic omega like you. The moon goddess must have made a mistake cursing me with a mutt like you. Logan spat disdainfully. His words pierced my soul, making it bleed. The moon goddess never makes a mistake, I replied softly. She must have made a mistake. He bellowed angrily and I shut up, not wanting to aggravate his anger anymore. What was she thinking? Pairing me with a weak piece of trash? I am the alpha of this pack. Do you think I can rule with a useless, good-for-nothing omega like you by my side? He hated me, that I could tell frankly. Logan abhorred the idea of being mated to him. I disgusted him. As the alpha, how could he take a weak and pathetic omega like me as his mate? His standard was way above my class. I don't want to see your face in my pack. You either leave or I'll make you. With those last words, he strode away, leaving me sprawled on the ground. I pulled myself together, tears streaming down my face. With how much I had cried over the weeks, I wondered how come I still had tears to shed. My elbow and knuckles were injured from the push I received from my mate, with the wolfsbane in my system coupled with my wolf abandoning me and the silver chains. I knew healing will not be easy. I did not head to the fields. I took my turn to the opposite direction, the woods. I walked, dragging the silver chains with me. I arrived at a place which was all too familiar to me. This was a place Alana and I visited frequently. We would come here in the evening and sit on the cliff, enjoying the sweet sea breeze. The sea was Alana's favorite place. It's no wonder her scent was that of sweet ocean water mixed with corals. I stood by the cliff, reminiscing how happy we were when Alana was still around. Everybody warned her to stay away from me because I was nothing but an omega. But Alana always defended me from her family members. They warned her that I would jinx her life just like I caused my mother's death when she gave birth to me, but that did not change Alana's attitude towards me. We will always remain friends. Tamia, not even death can separate us. Her words echoed in my mind. Why, Alana? You promised that we will always be together, yet you left without me, I cried, shouting to the moon goddess for how unfair she has been to me. She must have hated me so much to put me through so much pain. Did my pain entertain her? It's okay, though. I will soon join you. After that, we can continue being friends, I said, taking a deep breath. I have nothing to live for anymore. My mother left me early. My father was murdered in front of me. My best friend was brutally killed and the killer escaped scot-free, causing me to bear the brunt of his sins. A mate who hates me and loathes my very existence. What's the need of staying alive? Alana, I am coming to you. A lone tear escaped my eye as I let myself fall off the cliff. 12:06, April 5th, 2025 Max. It's been 7 fucking years since that bloody witch cursed me. She killed my mother and I killed her, which was only right. Before I could rip out her heart, she cursed me with bloodlust. Every blood moon, I go on a rampage, killing people. I enjoy seeing them bleed to death. It gives me pleasure, but I know that's not my doing. It's the curse taking effect. I have tried different ways to stop the demon, which awakens every blood moon, but all in vain. Essa Lycan. I am powerful than ordinary werewolves. My relationship with my father went down the drain. He's to be blamed for everything that happened to my mother and me. If he had remained faithful to his mate, my mother, then that witch would not have seduced her way into our house. She messed everything up. The once peaceful family I had fell apart. I was only 10 years old when she came to our house. Gradually, my mother started isolating herself. I didn't understand why, but as I grew up, I often found her crying secretly in her chambers. My father moved out of the house and moved in with his new wife Adina. He started treating me with hostility, making me train harder than I should. I took it as a challenge and grew strong so that I could protect my mother. I came back from my training to take up the position of the Lycan King only to find out that my mother was dead. They made it look like she committed suicide, but I knew her best. She will do anything with the exception of taking her life. My mother was not cowardly, and taking one's life is considered cowardice. I did my investigation silently after taking over the pack, and all evidence pointed to Adina, that witch. Not only did she bewitch my father, she murdered the only person who I held dear in my life. A life for a life. That's what I always believe in. So on that bloody moon, I killed her with my own hands. Now, it's been 7 years and I dread blood moons. People call me a monster. I don't blame them. That's exactly what Adina turned me into. A bloodthirsty monster. I have consulted witches and wizards and they haven't been able to help me break the curse. They say that I will find someone who will help me break the curse, and I have been in almost every pack, searching for her. She comes into my dreams, but I have not been able to see her face. I only get to see a silhouette of her beautiful body. I don't know for how long I'll continue searching. I feel like that said lady doesn't exist anymore. I am making my way to the Silver Moon Pack to try locating my savior. The journey has been long and tiring, not to mention I am thirsty. I approach the sea that separates my land with the Silver Moon Pack. I decided to rest and feed my horse. The blue water was tempting, and before I knew it, I stripped to my boxers and plunged myself into the water. The cold water calmed my nerves, making me relax. I floated in the water, occasionally diving and coming up. I was about to swim to the shore when my eyes caught something floating not far away from me. I was about to ignore it, but something in me made me swim to have a look. When I got close, I realized that it was a body. Maybe dead considering it was floating. Either way, I swam nearer to take a look. My eyes caught sight of a beautiful young woman. Her eyes were closed. I circled my arms around her body, dragging her back to the shores. I carried her in my arms, laying her by the sand before I felt her pulse. She was still breathing. I pressed her stomach, making her vomit water and sand. She didn't open her eyes, so I covered her with my cloak and carried her away. I wanted to leave her and continue with my journey, but something stopped me. It was an alien feeling. I also noticed that every time our skin got into contact, I would feel a spark. I didn't think much of it because who didn't know that apart from the bloodlust curse, I was cursed to never find a mate. I left her and searched for a cave. It was evening and soon darkness would take over the land. I managed to find one, so I carried her to the cave, lit fire and removed her clothes. I am no pervert, and even if I was, I would never take advantage of an unconscious lady. I Notice she had a silver chain binding one of her legs. She must have been a slave, but even if she was, chaining her with silver was inhumane. Slaves still exist in packs, but this is a century of civilization, and chains are no longer used on slaves. Her back was battered, scars of old wounds and new ones piling on her body. I could not help but wonder if whoever did this had a heart. Even though I am rumored to be heartless, I would never do this to a lady. She went down with a fever for the whole night and I was forced to strip and cuddle her. Giving her my body warmth helped ease her fever. The following day, I decided to take the strange lady back to my pack. I could not leave her all by herself, especially when she's so vulnerable. It didn't help that Black, my wolf, was feeling possessive of her, making me question his actions. "What the hell is wrong with you? You are being weird," I commented, and it took time for my beast to reply, which to me felt like forever. "I like her," he said, making me huff. "She's not our mate," I stated as a matter of fact. "You don't know that," Black growled at me, making me cock my brows. "We are cursed, remember?" I mocked and he glared at me. "Shut up, human. I like her and you do too," he shot back, making me pause in my steps. We had already arrived at the castle and I was carrying the lady in my arms as I made my way inside. "I don't," I snapped at Black. He liked her, so be it. He should stop instigating my mind with his own ideas. Says who promised to protect her. Black mocked me and I said nothing. Yes, last night she had a nightmare, pleading with someone not to kill her. I was worried that it would worsen her condition, so I hushed her, promising to protect her. Black should know better than anyone else that I was just calming her. "Since when did you start caring about others?" Black said sarcastically and I blocked him from my mind. He was right though. I have never cared about anyone else apart from myself. I made my way to the castle, bypassing my warriors who looked at me like I had grown 2 heads before their eyes fell on the woman in my arms. "What are you looking at?" "Scram," I ordered, annoyed. Truth was, I was embarrassed to be seen by my warriors carrying a woman in my arms. I kicked the door to my room, and just when I had finished laying the woman down, my sister Aurora burst inside my room. "Is she the one?" my sister asked, and I shook my head at her. I could see the disappointed look on her face. "She is 5 years younger than me and after Mom passed away, I raised her." "Who is she?" she asked, a frown marred on her face. "She's nobody, Aurora. Go fetch the pack doctor to look after her. Stay with her. I'll check up on her later." I instructed and walked away. Something about her faint scent was messing with my mind and I had to fight the urge to kiss her pale lips. I needed to stay away from her, maybe just continue with my search for the chosen one to break my curse. I can't afford to be distracted at this point, not when in a few months the blood moon will rise again. It rises up once every 2 years, turning me into a beast. My bloodlust remains until the moon disappears. Everything comes accompanied by pain. If I try to fight it, I walk to my office, slamming the door shut, annoyed by what? I can't tell. I opened my eyes, tried to blink, but all I was met with was darkness and silence. Where am I? I could not help but question internally. Just then, memories of what happened last resurfaced in my mind, and I could not stop the chuckle that escaped my mouth. Yeah, I jumped off the cliff and must have died. The cliff was steep and hopes of surviving the fall were zero. It's not like I wanted to survive in the first place. I jumped to end my miserable life, and it seems like I managed to do that. But wait, why do I still remember what happened? I heard that when one dies, their souls leave their bodies and go back to their creator. In our case, we go back to the moon goddess. But why am I still having memories of my past self? Most importantly, where is the moon goddess? Did she still discard me like she did in my past life? Things have already come to this. Won't she even welcome me back? I chuckled bitterly. I guess even in this state, she doesn't want me. Am I in hell then? That could be the only possible explanation. But then again, where is the angel of death? Father always told me that the good people will go back to the moon goddess and would be rewarded by reincarnation. The evil ones will be tormented in hell by the angel of death and will not be given a chance to reincarnate. Amidst the darkness, I saw a flicker of light. It was dim, but at least it was something. I dragged my tired body, heading to the direction of the light. I was about to reach the source of light when I staggered and fell. I felt myself fall at an impossibly fast speed. Memories of my childhood started to flash in my mind. How I met Alana on our 5th birthday. How we became friends. My life started playing in my mind like a broken tape while my body continued to fall to goddess knows where. A splitting headache rammed my head and I found myself groaning, Alana's beautiful smile flashing in my mind. The image alternated with me waking up to a dead Alana while her blood was smeared all over my clothes and body. I wanted to scream for everything to stop, but no sound came from my mind. I gripped my head tightly. The pain of torture from my mate and his beta coming in waves. I was made to relive every ugly experience I went through in that pack. My father's body lay limp in his own blood as they whipped and tortured me inside those four walls. Stop. I shouted, tears streaming my cheeks. The pain was unbearable, and my head was throbbing painfully. I could not stop the pain, and I wanted it to stop so badly. Make it stop, please. I pleaded to no one. The pain was agonizing, making me relive every bit of it. After what seemed like eternity, I finally landed softly on the ground. I curled myself into a ball, sobbing softly. Even in hell, she could not let me have peace. A blinding light evaded my eyes, making me open them and look at its way. Before me stood a beautiful woman. She had the most beautiful and soft midnight black hair I have ever seen. Her eyes mirrored mine, dark blue orbs which alternated color to hazel, green then to blue again. She was dressed in a royal blue dress, matching her crystalline blue crown. She had a beautiful smile on her face as she looked down at me. "My daughter," she called, and I melted to her sweet and lovely motherly voice. "Who are you?" I was still guarded towards her. "I have learnt the hard way that people are not as simple as they look. It's me," she said, realization hitting me almost instantly. "The moon goddess?" I asked to confirm and she nodded, a smile still plastered on her face. I got angry all of a sudden. "What do you want from me? Haven't you given me enough pain? I just want to take a break. Is that too much to ask?" I asked, my anger coursing through my veins, making my tears drop. Haven't I experienced enough pain when I was alive that she followed me all the way here to hell to give me more pain? "My child, you misunderstand me," she said softly. "I am here not to cause you any pain. I want you to be happy. You are not dead either. This is me invading your consciousness," she explained. "What?" I exclaimed, a sudden pain hitting my head, making me clutch at it. "Relax, I will explain everything. You tried to take your life, which of course is an offense," she said, eyeing me, and I looked away guiltily. I know it's an offense to take a life, but I was at my end and living held no more sense. "It's easier to be dead than to live with misery," I shot back. My father always reminded me to pray to the moon goddess every night. He always said that she listens to her children and that she will never abandon them. She is our God and we worship her. But at this point, I was so angry that I could not contain my rage. "You cannot die. Your purpose on earth is not over yet," she said, and I could feel the seriousness in her words. "What do you mean?" I asked, confused what she meant by my purpose was yet to be over. Did she mean my purpose of bearing pain wasn't over? "You have a mission in your hands to save my people. I chose you, and without you, my people will perish. They will suffer," she explained. I didn't say a word, just allowed her to keep talking because I could see she wasn't done. "You will have to go back and fulfill your mission. I can't alter your fate, but I can help you change your fate," she said, and one thing caught my attention. "What do you mean by you can't alter my fate?" "She is our God, our creator, and is responsible for our lives. I am not the god of fate. My work is to pair my children and bless them with mates. What happens to them is decided by the god of fate," she explained. "But you cursed me with a mate," I argued. "Logan had to be my curse and not a blessing. I pair my descendants fairly. What happened to you was triggered by fate and not my arrangement." She defended me and I did not say anything. I know for a fact that Logan would never have accepted me. Don't jump to conclusions. People are not what we are then. Identities can be stolen, but everybody will always find their way back home. That's a balance of nature. Her words confused me to no end, but I was not planning to ask her to explain. She might use more puzzles to explain, and I was not ready to stress my mind. "What mission do I have?" I asked. The moon goddess extended her hand, producing a bubble. I saw a man walking away on what seemed to be a seashore. I only saw his back frame, and I could swear he is handsome. "Find him. Through him, you will be able to save my people. Truth must be uncovered and justice served to the innocent. My time is limited and I am afraid I have to go. Find the purpose of your life and live your life like a descendant of the moon," she added, a beam of light leaving her palm and striking straight to my heart. "That will help you in your mission. Now go." She started to disappear until she was all gone. I felt a nagging urge to drink water, so I struggled to open my eyes and sit up only to have gentle hands push me back. Relax, you are still weak, a sweet, soft voice said, making me look at her direction. Before me stood a beautiful woman with black orbs. She was looking at me tenderly, a sweet smile on her face. Water. I croaked out the words, my voice coming out hoarse. She hurried to a table, bringing a glass of water and helping me take it. I gulped all the contents in the glass. My throat, which was perched earlier, feeling relaxed. Who are you? I asked. I have never seen a beautiful lady like her, nor have I seen her around here. Wait, where is this place? Where am I? I asked, alarmed. This didn't look like anything like our pack. Relax, I am Aurora, Alpha Killian's sister, and you are in the Midnight Pack. Just then, the door opened and a sweet, delectable scent hit my nose and Sasha cooed in my mind. Mate, I whispered. I didn't help the girl with any ulterior motives. I would have left her there if it wasn't for Black insisting that we save her. When I came with her to the pack, I wanted her to be nursed back to health, and then that would be it. I would have played my part in whatever mess her life was. So, when I went to check on how she was doing and Black started shouting in my head that she was our mate, I thought he had lost it. That was why I couldn't look at her, because I didn't want Black getting any more ideas that he already had. Beautiful? Maybe she was underneath all that gloom. Maybe after a little washing and good feeding, the beauty would show, for she had the features of a beautiful woman. But I wasn't looking for beautiful. I was looking for the woman in my dreams, and she wasn't that. I have a curse that has followed me for years, and the end of another second year since it started was almost here with me, and the last thing I need is to be distracted from my mission. My mission is to find the woman who I always see in my dreams to help me get rid of this damn curse. I can't wait for the day I will rest without lusting for blood. It has been 2 days since I brought her, and I see Aurora and that girl walking around the palace, and she seems to be getting stronger. Looking at her, I am kind of confused. Sometimes she gives the vibes of a weak omega, and sometimes she gives the vibes of a beta, and a strong beta at that. I have never been wrong about a wolf, but this one is confusing me. Or is she another witch? Oh, I would kill her without a second thought. Ever since that woman put that curse me, I swore to eliminate any witch I came across. How come I couldn't clearly tell what kind of a wolf she was? Hey, brother, come, take a walk with us, Aurora called me. I guess I was too distracted to hide well from them the way I have been doing for the past 2 days. No, I have pack matters to tend to. You guys go ahead, and Aurora, keep me posted, I said, and I used a more stern tone than I had intended. Oh, okay. Take care, Aurora said as they walked towards the garden. I know that there are herbs of all kinds in the garden, and they would help her heal faster. The pack doctor supervised the planting of that garden. He said that the smell produced by the herbs alone would help a sick wolf get better faster. I walked to my room and sat on my bed. Of late, I can't concentrate on anything. The blood moon is almost here, and I haven't found the girl yet. I hate killing innocent people, and I really don't know what to do. When all this started, we thought that tying me up with silver and nickel chains would help, but it never did. When the blood moon shone, it would call to the curse no matter where I was hiding. Thus, I had learnt better than to hide. I go far away from any kind of civilization, but by the time it's over, I usually find that I have killed some people. I have no recollection of it. All I know is that my body craves and calls for blood, and I go on a killing spree. I need to find that woman whose back I see in all of my dreams, and soonest. I just wish that I would dream of where to find her. That would make everything this much easier. I can smell Aurora and that girl going back to my quarters again. That's another thing that surprised everybody again. My quarters are preserved for me and my sister only. Even my beta Kira doesn't have permission to come to my wing without asking first. But that day, I found myself carrying her here without even thinking about what I was doing. Why? I'm also not sure either. I also don't know why her smell is so strong and so sweet, and whenever we smell her, Black goes on a rampage, and it is becoming harder and harder to contain him. All I have to do is either get out of here or chase her away. She's now better, and I know she can take care of herself, but whenever I think of sending her away from here, Black goes mad, literally. He says that he can't believe that I want to chase our mate away. By thinking about it, where does she come from? Why did she want to die? Or did someone throw her down that cliff? But why? And what with all the torture? How could someone keep her with the silver chains until they ate to her bone? And she looked like she was not being fed too. Anyway, I will go with what Aurora says because she's the one who has been taking care of her. Something tells me that I will be lucky this time and locate my wolf, my mate, the one who will break this curse and set me free. I get ready and walk towards Aurora's rooms where the girl is, and I find them conversing and laughing. At least they seem to have gotten closer, and for the first time, I see my sister laughing without care. I was very careful to walk without making a noise, and I have masked my scent, but the girl notices me first. She looks up and our gazes meet, and Black goes crazy. Mate, 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 Mark, our mate, is all he can say, and he makes me start regretting coming here. I ignore him and go to the point. Aurora, can I talk to you for a minute? I say and walk out without even sparing her a glance. The girl too is ignoring my gaze, and I don't mind. It works well for me because it helps in not making the situation more awkward than it already is. I am leaving, I tell my sister once we get to the corridor, and she looks at me the way she usually does, with a mixture of pity and love in her eyes. You are still looking for her? Can't you take a rest first? She asks, and I know it's only because she cares. You know I can't. The blood moon is almost here with us, and if there is even a half a chance that I might find her, I am willing to take it. I tell her, and I know she understands. Okay, you take care, and I am always here whenever you need me, she says and hugs me. I know. Take care of the pack, I say and start walking away. Then, Aurora, take care and be wary of that girl, I say and walk away quickly before she asks any questions. I don't want to explain myself, but I am not worried about anyone hurting my sister. She is a bright wolf and strong. She can hold her own. Black is angry with me again. No news there. He has been doing that a lot lately since I brought that girl home. I know it's because he wanted me to claim that girl for us, but I can't. I would only be hurting her, and I can't. I don't want to hurt her when the blood moon comes, because I am pretty sure that she isn't the woman in my dreams. If she was, I wouldn't hesitate to claim her, but he will understand once we find the one. He will understand when we stop craving blood. For now, the journey continues. I am much better than I was when I came here. I can now feel flesh on my bones, and my wounds are almost healed. What made me take this long without getting better was all the wolf's bane that had been pumped in my system. But with this pack's doctor's help, I am all better. That magical garden of theirs helped too. This garden has all types of herbs you could think of. According to Aurora, it blooms all year round, and there's this nice smell always. The sick wolves or those who are pregnant come here, and it helps. It will also help you in recovering quickly, Aurora explained as she took me there for the first time. That wolf, the king of the pack, came again to my room. He looked at me for like a second, and then avoided my gaze. I have no idea why. Sasha was all excited as she cooed, but the fact that he ignored us helped me convince her that, like Logan, he also didn't want us. I wonder why the goddess hates me so much. She knows that I am a weak omega, but all the time, she pairs me to these kings who don't want me. It's not that I want them either. No, in fact, if I was asked, I would choose to live alone. That way, no one would get hurt if I died or got hurt. It would be just me, and that's it. But I am grateful to Alpha Killian. He saved me, and he isn't mistreating me or anything. He has given me somewhere to live, and Aurora is an angel. She treats me so well and makes me miss Alana this much more. This is because she is like Alana all over again. She doesn't care that she is a princess and that I am a mere omega with no background. All she cared about is I get better. She doesn't even pressure me to tell her where I am from or why I was in the state I was in when her brother found me. No, she said, I am sure you will talk when you are ready to. She's such an darling. This pack is located deep in a forest just like any other wolf pack. They do this to avoid prying eyes from humans and all. There is Killian, the alpha, and Kira, his beta. This one is stronger and is already married, unlike his king who isn't. According to Aurora, there is something keeping Killian from getting married. She wouldn't tell me what, but she says like my secret. Killian will also tell me when and if he wants to. I guess that means that I will never know. This is because I don't ever picture myself having any time of a conversation with the alpha too. A point that he would tell me his secrets. In a way. Not with the way he also hates me. Anyway, according to Aurora, the pack has less than 1,000 members. This is because, when Killian challenged the then alpha and his father for the topmost seat, many were calling him a child and a traitor. And they fought on their father's side. Many wolves died, and those who weren't loyal to Killian were killed, and others ran away. What gives Killian the advantage is the fact that he is a Lycan and thus very strong. Those who remained have reproduced, and the pack has grown in numbers and even resources, Aurora told me as we took a walk one day. Why did you brother challenge your father for the seat? Couldn't he have waited for his time to become the king? I wondered aloud and Aurora chuckled. I could tell that there was a bitter story behind that laugh. It's a long story and today isn't the time to tell it, she said, and I didn't push. She will tell me when she is ready and when it's time. Anyway, I am happy that my brother is the king now, she said, and I didn't ask. Anyway, I am happy that my brother is the king now, she said, and I didn't ask. What I have learnt so far is that there is a story behind every happy face you see. I wouldn't be quick to judge people given what I have been through. I have told Aurora my plan, though she doesn't agree with me. I haven't told her exactly what has been happening to me, but I hinted that I needed to clear my name. So, this is the plan as I told it to Aurora. I want to get better and strong. Then, I will train, if she allows me. After I get strong enough, I will go back to my former pack. The main reason of going back there will be to prove that I didn't kill Alana. By now, I am sure that Logan has already broken the mate bond between us. Because I can feel that I am free of him, though I didn't agree to his rejection. He rejected me and our mate bonds work only if both mates are in on it. So when I go back, that won't affect me. Also, my plan isn't to go directly to the pack. No, that would make me their slave, a lover again, because they are stronger than me. I will hide. I really don't know where or how to start with the investigations, but I must. If not for me, for Alana and my dad, both died because of me. I have to make sure that they didn't die for nothing. It is time I manned up. Aurora doesn't agree with me going back. All I told her was that I was wrongly accused of killing someone and I had to clear my name. Tamia, you can't go back. We have to wait for my brother and then we can ask for his help. You will be killed by that girl's family if you go back alone, Aurora said with worry written all over her face. You are just an Omega, no offense, but you know what I mean. You are too weak to go and try to fight alone. So, please don't go. Let us wait for Killian. I am sure that he will help you, she added, and I knew that she made sense, but I couldn't wait. How sure are you that he will help me? He doesn't even know me, I argued. There is a way. Take an oath and become part of our pack and he will be obliged to help, Aurora said with a smile, and I didn't know that she was this scheming. She had a point though. Becoming part of this pack would mean that I had a family. I didn't want to become a rogue, and it was clear that Logan didn't want me as part of his pack. So, becoming part of the Midnight Pack it was. I didn't even know where I was going as I left home. All I knew was that I had gone east and west and north, where I met that girl, and I still had not yet found the one. Tired? Yes. But this was something I needed to. So, I wasn't ready to give up yet. The only way remaining to go was only south. I started my journey as I always do, and what was worse was that I didn't even know what or whom I was looking for. Damn frustrating. All I had ever seen was her backside. And that's all. And that was also in a dream. Laughable. I know. Talk about little to work with. But I had to. I had to find her no matter what. It was now a matter of weeks before the blood moon was here with us. I walked from town to town as I usually do, and I rarely slept inside any hotel rooms or looked for accommodation. Too tiring, and I didn't have the time to enjoy the scenery or take more time than needed in one particular place. I am a Lycan and I didn't need the comfort of a warm room. All I needed was food and I was good to go. Also, I am usually more alert at night, and so, I preferred walking at night, but then I figured if I did, I might miss the chance of meeting her. As such, I would train during the night, catch a few hours of sleep and then continue. So, this day, I am walking and looking and hoping as usual when I see this girl. She isn't what you would call beautiful, but she could make heads turn. You know, that turn to have a better look. She had a head full of red hair. It was more red than it was brunette. Her eyes were hazel complementing the hair, and she had a fair skin. At first, I didn't think much of it, and that was until she turned. That back was the back I had seen a million times in my dreams. I jolted and Black did too, but he didn't say anything. I couldn't believe my luck, although I didn't really count it as luck because I have been looking for a very long time. It was just a matter of time. Sometimes I almost blamed the moon goddess because I usually wondered where she was when I was suffering like this. I wasn't usually the most religious one or the most good one, but I know I was a good person. I tried helping those in need and take care of my pack members the best way I knew how, and anyway, finally, the moon goddess had shown her benevolence on me because it looked like I had finally met the one I have been looking for ever since. I didn't talk to her, neither was I in a rush to reveal myself. I decided to follow her and see where she goes. I was stealth enough because she didn't seem to notice that there was someone following her. She went round doing shopping for this and that, and I wondered why she would buy all these mundane things. As wolves, there were things we didn't need, like sanitary pads. But then, wait, she was giving off an aura of an omega. Do omegas receive their monthly periods? I really didn't know because I guessed. Do they? I will find out. I guess I missed that lesson when we were in school. I was one of those who usually didn't find the need of learning about the other wolf breeds because, why would I? I was an alpha and the next king. I never thought that one day I might have a mate who would need the knowledge we deemed as useless while in school. Anyway, I knew this was the woman I was looking for, and the fact that she was an Omega was the least of my worries. My worry was whether she would be able to help me break the curse or not. I continued following her until she came to the edge of the forest, and she looked all ways to make sure that no one was watching, and she removed a branch that seemed to be hiding a pathway and followed it. As a strong wolf myself, I didn't need to struggle much to follow her. I followed her until we came to a clearing, and she stood and looked at exactly where I was hiding behind this huge boulder. You can come in now, she said with a smile, and I stopped. How did she know that I was following her? Yes, you can come out, she said, like she was sure I was there and there was no mistaking it. I walked out from my hiding spot feeling like a fool. I thought I had masked my scent well. What happened then? I know that you have been following me since this afternoon at the market. She smiled, and it wasn't a beautiful smile, but there was this way she raised the right side of her lips that made it sexy. How did you know that I was following you? I asked because come on, even the best wolves in my pack, and that includes my beta, can't find me once I mask my smell. So, how? Because we are mates, silly. I could smell your pheromones. Remember, you can hide your scent from any other wolf but never your mate. She spoke with this familiarity like we had not known each other for years. Mates? Black and I asked at the same time. Mates? Did she say mates? What did she mean? How come I couldn't smell her then? But I thought about the girl back at the pack and the way Black was sure that she was our mate. Yes, I thought you could smell me and that was why. Never mind. It's okay, she sniffed and made as if to walk away. Wait, I panicked. It didn't matter whether we were mates or not. What mattered was whether she would be able to help me break the curse or not. What? You are behaving like you don't want me or as if you haven't felt our bond. I knew it was all a lie from the moon goddess when I dreamed about you. You and your damn curse. I would be risking my life by agreeing to it, and here you are behaving as if you are doing me a favor. Just leave me alone, she said, and by now, she was shedding tears. I couldn't watch her just crying, and I was now sure that she was the woman I had been looking for after everything she said. I held her to myself and hugged her and allowed her to cry as I apologized. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. It's just that we are strangers, and how do I tell her that I can't feel the bond she is talking about? Anyway, I never dreamt that the one who will help me break the curse had to be my mate. She could be the right one, and I didn't have any reason to hesitate. Also, I had vowed that I would become a slave if need be, to the one who would help me break the curse. So, if this was it, so be it. And didn't she say that she felt it? That's more than enough. I'm Killian, I said as I held her at arm's length and helped her wipe her tears. I am Data, she said and smiled. I didn't know what to think of this situation as Data took me to her home. Apparently, she lived alone in the middle of a forest. Her house was a small shack in the middle of the forest. She didn't have any furniture, and all she had was a small cooking kerosene stove, a few utensils in a small basin, and a small sleeping area in the ground, and her clothes in a bag at one corner. I was 10 when my mom was killed by rogue wolves. I didn't know my father because he died even before I was born, since my mom was a single mother and she struggled to bring me up in a pack that didn't want her. She was killed using false accusations. The alpha called her a witch and blamed her for his mother's death. He killed her not wanting to think about me, a 10-year-old girl. She wasn't even asked for explanations. They has decided that she was a murderer, and that was it. After my mom died, I had to run away from the pack because I knew they would kill me too, like they did my mom. That's how I found myself living alone, here, in the middle of nowhere. Data told me, and I sympathized with her. I couldn't imagine how it was for a girl of 10 to be alone in such a cruel world. How did you survive alone? Didn't the rogues get you? Didn't you turn into a rogue? I asked her because it's very hard for a wolf to survive alone. She had to look for others like her to survive, otherwise it would be very hard. This was having in mind the fact that she was an Omega and a female at that. The weakest of our bunch. It was hard. But to be safe, I had to live with humans. They are kinder than our type, you know. So I became a beggar and borrowed here and there and did odd jobs for them. They paid me and I was able to cater for my needs. I won't lie to you. I almost gave up until the dreams started. They gave me hope of a better tomorrow. I didn't understand them at first until they became continuous and I knew that they had to have a meaning. I used to see this man's back in my dreams and I never saw his face. After that, a voice started talking to me. It used to tell me that I will be a savior to someone and help them break a curse. I didn't know what type of a curse, but according to the voice, it was a very bad curse and I would be risking my life. This wasn't until I saw you today in the market. I saw your back first and I knew that was the back I had always seen in my dreams. I have seen you so many times that I felt like I knew you personally, and then I could smell your pheromones and tries. My wolf said that you are our mate. I was happy because I knew you would save us, but I also wasn't sure that you would love us. But I didn't care, because I hoped that if that person came, maybe they would be my home and all this would be over. Yes, I was doubtful, but it was a risk worth taking, and that's why I went round and round today hoping that you would follow me. I thought you followed me because you also thought I was your mate. But from your reaction when I called you, you haven't felt the bond, have you? She said sadly, and I couldn't take it anymore. She was a girl and she didn't deserve to be alone and to go through all that. Don't worry, I will take care of you. And I will also help you take revenge on those who killed your mom. Don't worry. You got me now, I told her as I hugged her. I wanted her to feel safe and know that I would be there for her. If it was true that she was the girl I had been waiting for, then I would fight the whole world for her. I just wanted to be rid of this curse before the blood moon appeared. As I was holding her, I smelt her pheromones and the smell wasn't pleasant. I don't know why I would not like her pheromones since she was going to be my mate. Data, what's wrong? I asked her as I let her go. If she was my mate, then I didn't like this smell. But I had to make do because it was clear that she was my savior. I would get used to this. When I looked at her, she had turned red. Please help me, she said in a weak voice, and that was when it occurred to me. Data was on heat. Have you ever gotten your heat again? I asked her and she shook her head. So, you don't have any suppressants? I asked her again and she looked at me with questions in her eyes. You know, to bring down your heat. She shook her head, and by then, the smell was everywhere and it was starting to affect me. I couldn't think straight anymore and she was starting to become beautiful in my eyes. She started tearing her clothes off and the sight of her naked soft skin made me lose it. She looked at me and begged me to help her, and by now, she was totally naked. She came closer to me and it was like I was glued to the ground. I couldn't move and I looked at her as she approached me and I let her kiss me. That first kiss made me shed all my reasoning. I held her and kissed her back and deep. I then carried her to the little sleeping area she had prepared on the ground. By now, I wasn't thinking. She had me muddle-headed and all I wanted was to mate and make her mine. And that's what we did, the whole of that night. We made love and I finally marked her. It wasn't special per S3, but she was mine now. I was on my way to getting better and I was happy. The heat lasted for a whole week and I guessed it was because it was her first time. But I was there to take care of her. And I was happy that it happened when I was here with her. Because if it had happened when she was alone, she would have been at the risk of being raped by rogues or any passing wolf. After a week, she was fully back to herself and it was time I took her home. I'm sure that Aurora would be happy that I had found my mate and the person who would help me break the curse. Let's go home, Data, I told her and she smiled at me. I will finally have a home, she said. Data and I went back home and Aurora wasn't happy to see us back. In fact, we had an argument about it and it wasn't pleasant because this was the first time Aurora was disagreeing with me. She's the one, Aurora. She's the one, I told her with happiness written all over my face. And we are mated, I added, and Aurora froze. What? Why don't you say anything? I asked because she wasn't saying anything and she wasn't as excited for me as I thought she would be. I thought my sister would be happy for me after everything we had been through together. She had seen how I had to fight to get us to where we were today. This curse came because I was fighting for what was rightfully ours. She had been my #1 supporter so far and this was unlike her. Aurora? I called her and she looked at me again. Her face was a man of fury and another emotion I couldn't out a finger on. Killian, what did you say? You are mated to who? She asked me and she wasn't smiling as I expected. To Data. She is my mate now. I told her again and she pulled me towards her rooms. Come here, She closed the door to her bedroom after confirming that nobody was following us. What? Can't you just be happy for me? I asked her and she turned to look at me immediately. She closed the door. Are you sure that Data, I corrected. She gave me the eye and continued, that this girl is truly the one. Her back was exactly like I saw in my dream. I mumbled because, was I really sure? If she hadn't gone on heat when she did, would I have marked her? Then how come you two are mated? She asked me. Should I tell her that I didn't feel the bond? Should I tell her that it was the heat of the moment? I couldn't lie to Aurora because she saw right through me. Me and her have been like a mother and a father to each other. We have been each other's pillars of support and she knew me even better than I knew myself. Here goes nothing. She felt the bond and then after we went to her place she got into heat and I could not even finish as I sighed. Now that I was saying it out loud, it didn't make sense. It was unlike me. I sounded like a teenage puppy who had encountered an omega on heat. Killian, you are a Lycan. Other wolves' pheromones aren't supposed to affect you. She was fuming and this was the first time I was seeing my sister this worked up. You don't get it, sis. She's the one who is supposed to get me out of this curse. I am pretty sure about it. I saw that back and she knew things about me. She knew about the curse. She had also been dreaming about me. We mated and we are now connected and I am hopeful that come the blood moon, she will help me raise the curse from my body. Can't you just be happy for me? You of all people know that I have really looked for her. Now that she is here, please be happy for me. Please, I said, almost raising my voice at her, but I reined it in. She sighed and looked at me like she was looking at a fool. Big bro, 2 days ago, Tamia fell really sick. She had been doing very well and had recovered to a point that she had started training with our warriors. She isn't like any omega you have ever seen. She is very strong and her agility is like that of a beta. But the day before yesterday, as she was in training and Kira and I were busy in the office, I was suddenly called and told that she is in a lot of pain. I don't have a mate and I have never experienced these things. So, I immediately called the pack doctor. He took one look at her and said that he couldn't help her, she said, and I wondered where she was going with this. Why couldn't he help her? I asked because our pack had the best doctor around, because she was going through the pain of her mate mating with another wolf and he hadn't rejected her yet. She felt every moment of it and I saw her die inside from the pain. She went through a 12-hour period of intense pain. I have never seen someone so beaten. She cried and wished that you had rejected her instead of doing that to her. Rora couldn't finish. She seemed like she was sharing in Tamia's pain. I felt it too. I didn't know what to say. Sis, what to say? It's not me you should talk to. It's Tamia. She needs to know the truth. If you don't want her, reject her formally and let her go. It's better for her to go through a one-time pain than a lifetime of it whenever you and your so-called mate do it. You very well know that if you don't break the bond between you two, every time you and Didia have sex, it will be a torture for her. So brother, do the right thing for her sake. I know you are a sensible man and you will do the right thing. She finished and walked out, leaving me alone to my thoughts. I felt guilty towards Tamia, but what to do? I had already marked a mate, but I didn't have the courage to reject her. I was in pain. I thought that what Logan and Carter had done to me and the wolf's bane in my system was painful, but no, I would prefer that torture to this any time. I had been getting better and stronger by the day and I requested Aurora to allow me to train and miraculously, she agreed. Omegas are at the bottom of the food chain in our world and as such, we are mostly kept for breeding and working. Yes, we are the wolves' slaves. We are the maids and men servants in the houses of alpha, betas and the rare gammas. So, Aurora allowing me to train was like breeze of fresh air in my otherwise dull and painful life. I don't even know what was happening to me because all my life I have been an omega, but my body doesn't feel like it. When I went to the training ground, the warriors groaned and looked down on me, but they kept quiet when they saw that it was their princess, one of the best warriors of the pack, who had brought me. Though they were unwilling, they had to agree and I swore to prove them all wrong. An omega can be something else other than a breeding machine and a slave. I trained like there was no tomorrow and my body agreed to train with me. I trained as if I was a beta and within a week, I could beat many of those who were beating their chests saying that they were warriors and couldn't train with a lowly omega. I left many mouths agape and I was so proud of myself. Aurora was so happy for me that she even gave me extra classes when we were free. It was during one of those training sessions and drills when the pain hit me. It started as a stinging pain and my lower abdomen, and all over sudden it was all over my body. I started sweating and I couldn't stand. My knees gave due to the pain. I crouched and held my stomach as I willed the stomach pain away, but it had come to stay. I screamed and Sasha growled as the pain attacked my whole body. It was this searing pain that made me lose all my marbles. I wanted to die. I felt like someone was flaying me alive. The skin was being taken out of my body by a very thin sharp knife, and then salt was applied to the raw wounds. I felt it. Sasha cried with me and she wanted to get out and run away from the pain, but I fainted. When I woke up, it was to Aurora's worried voice talking to the pack's doctor. Please help her. Look at how she is sweating. What's wrong with her? Hadn't she gotten better? Aurora was asking, and I could tell that she was at the blink of tears. Yes, princess. I regret that this isn't something that can be treated, the old man said. Why? If it's money, we can afford any medicine and you know it, she said, and the doctor kept quiet. I couldn't see their faces because it was too painful to even move my eyelashes or even make a sound. My princess, the pain the young pup is going through is I felt the doctor hesitate and wondered whether I was suffering from a terminal illness. What? Just spit it out, Della, Aurora said in irritation. It seems like she has a mate and he is mating with another wolf, and that's why she is in so much pain, he said quickly like he was running a relay. What? Aurora asked in surprise. I was also surprised because I didn't know that it was this kind of pain. I hated it, and I hated Killian. I hated every male wolf out there, and I will conquer this world to show them that I can live without them. But why? Why would her mate do that? I wonder what arsehole is capable of making another person go through this, she said, and I smiled inwardly. I thought to myself, if only she knew who the ahole was. It would have been better if he had rejected her because she would have suffered, yes. But it would have gone away even though it never totally heals. This one burns you from inside out. I don't think that we even have painkillers for such kind of pain because it rarely happens. For one to do this, they might hate her a lot, the doctor said, and I sighed inwardly. The hate part was no news to me. Killian won't be the first to hate me. I'm used to it. Please give her something. We can try because I don't want to imagine what she is going through. And how long will the pain last? Aurora asked the question that was in my mind. As long as her mate sleeps with another, and he hasn't cut the bond between him and her, she is going to feel it, he said, and I heard Aurora sigh. I felt like she sighed in my behalf, because the pain was starting again. I opened my eyes in alarm. And apparently Aurora was looking at me, because she noticed it immediately and ran towards the bed where I was lying. Tammy, how are you feeling? She asked in alarm, when she saw the expression on my face. Again, it's starting. I couldn't finish, as my wolf came out in a growl. I couldn't contain Sasha, as I was too weak a lover. Sasha jumped towards the door, and she wanted to run away, but the doctor and Aurora were able to restrain her. She groaned in pain, and for the first time, I saw a wolf cry. Sasha cried and whimpered on the bed as Aurora patted and soothed her. The doctor was standing there with his mouth agape. What's wrong, Della? Please get her something to soothe her. If we can't get a painkiller, then get her a sedative. Let us put her to sleep. Aurora was crying with me. The doctor just stood there without saying anything, still looking at me. Della? What's wrong? Did you hear me? Aurora asked. Yes. I heard you, my princess. It's just that. She is a silver wolf. He said the last part in a whisper. Aurora was not surprised because I had changed several times as I trained with her, but I guess she didn't know that a silver wolf was a rare thing. I didn't know either. Yeah. And? Aurora asked, and the old man left quiet. Oh, let me get her something to take first. We will talk about it later, he said and walked out. I soothed Sasha and she agreed to get back, and I changed back after the doctor got out. Tamia, how are you feeling? She asked me, and I looked at her with my puffy eyes. I will be okay. It sapped all my energy to get those words out. I am so sorry, she said, as she covered me, and I smiled weakly at her. Why are you apologizing? It's not your fault. I asked her because it was true. It wasn't her fault that her brother was in a hole. Tammy, may I ask you something? She asked, and I nodded my head slightly to show my agreement. Who's your mate? She asked, and I looked at her for a long while. I wondered whether to say it or not, but why not? He was the ass and not me. He deserved hatred among other things. So that was the reason why he didn't want to look at me. He knew that I was his mate, but most probably he loved another. Why didn't he just reject me the way Logan did? It would have been better and it would have set him free. Why put me in misery, and yet I hadn't done anything against or to him? Was it the goddess will that I suffer? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. Sorry for asking, B. Aurora began when she saw that I took too long to answer, and I cut her short. Killian, I said as I looked at her to see her reaction. Where? Oh, did you say my brother's name? She asked as she whipped her head towards the still door. Mate, I said again. What? She threw me on the bed as she stood up quickly and in surprise. Oh my goodness. So sorry, Tammy. So sorry, she said as she sat again and took my head in her lap again after she saw the painful expression on my face. Did you say Killian, my brother? Killian, the alpha of the Midnight Pack, is your mate? She asked, still in disbelief. Yes, I said, and Aurora swore. That cursed son of a bitch, she said with gritted teeth. Tamia hadn't done anything to warrant a rejection. Maybe there was a reason the moon goddess led me to her before she died. I wondered what to do, and then a thought occurred to me. Could I have two mates? If Tamia and Dadia both agreed, then I think it would work out fine. This is because I don't think I am ready to let go of any of them. Tamia is my mate, and I can't deny that I felt the bond, and Dadia is my savior. I think this would work. I wished Aurora hadn't walked out on me, and I could have asked her for her opinion and advice. As an alpha, I was required to do a public wedding and mate before my fellow wolves during the full moon, but I have never heard a law binding the alpha to marry just one wife. I thus walked out of Aurora's room and went straight to my quarters, where Data was resting. She had been exhausted from a week of heat and the journey we took, though I made sure to carry her most of the way here. She seemed to love me from our short interaction, and I knew that she would listen to me and indulge my every whim. I would make them happy, and I would make sure that I treated them equally. This was because Tamia was the mate the moon goddess had given to me, and Dadia was the one to save me from this damn curse. Clever. Easy, I told Aurora as I held her hand. I didn't want her to hate her brother on my behalf, but I asked him and he said no, he still left. He is such an, she continued, and there was a knock on the door and she went to get it. It was the doctor, who was back with some concoction. Tamia, take this. It will help soothe the pain and put you to sleep. Here is some food. Eat something before you sleep, he said as he put everything on the side table. I will do it, Aurora said, and thanked the doctor, who left us shortly after. She was still angry and I needed to soothe her, but I lacked the energy as I could feel another wave of pain coming. Without even talking, I grabbed the medicine and gulped it. I couldn't stand it anymore. I felt like I would die if I went through such pain again. I couldn't take it, Tammy, Aurora said as she went to grab the bowl, but it was too late. I had already downed the hot bitter liquid. Okay, then eat something, she said, but I really didn't have an appetite. I didn't argue, and she tried as I felt the world go quiet and I lost myself to sleep. I was in and out of pain and sleep for a whole week. I don't really know what I would do to Aurora as a show of gratitude for everything that she had done. And for me, she had been with me throughout the week. There wasn't a time that I woke up and she wasn't beside me. I wondered when she ate or slept, and she would just smile at me sweetly whenever I asked her. That pain is something I wouldn't even wish on my worst enemy. I will reject him myself, I told Aurora as we rested in the healing garden a day after the pain disappeared. I am so sorry, Tammy, that my brother turned out to be such an ass. I really don't know why he would do that to you, she said, and I held her hand. Hey, it's not your fault and it has nothing to do with you. If there is a person I blame in all this, it's the moon goddess. She always pairs me with pieces of shit. I joked and smiled, though Aurora didn't. She was looking at me with pity in her eyes, and she asked, so, Killian isn't the first one? I wondered what she would do if I told her about Logan. No, he isn't. The first one was the alpha to my former pack. He hated me so much that he gave me to his beta and his other subordinates, and he would watch as they raped me, among other types of torture, I said, looking at my nails because I didn't want to see the disgust on Aurora's face. Oh, sweetie, no wonder you wanted to end it all. I'm so sorry, she told me as she hugged me from the side. She was so sweet and she made me shed tears. Don't worry. I will be with you, and Killian will pay for hurting you. Although I guess he has his reasons to do what he did. That's unlike him. Tammy, can you do me a favor? She asked as she let me go and turned me to look straight into my eyes. Of course. Anything, I answered as I wiped the tears from my face. Can you not reject Killian first, please? She said, and I looked away. I thought she would ask me something else. But this? Why? You saw how much I suffered, R. Why would you make such a request? I asked her because. Why? Tammy, I wouldn't ask it of you if I wasn't sure. Like I told you, my brother had been going through a lot. First, he wouldn't have brought you here if he hated you. He isn't the kind of a person to help just anyone. He must have felt some kind of affinity to you. I can't tell you what he has been going through because that's on him to tell you. But please, could you listen to him first? Before you make the decision, please. I beg you. I won't ask anything of you again. Just do this for me, she said, and this was Aurora. I didn't have the energy to say no to her. Okay. I won't until I hear his side of the story, I said inside. Why was life so cruel to me? Killian came back that day around evening and he wasn't alone. I didn't even know because I was too tired physically due to the pain to be alert. I knew of it when a servant came to call Aurora for an audience with the Alpha. I guess he felt too important to come to where we were. Anyway, why would I care? Aurora went out, and after an hour or so, it wasn't she who opened the door. It was the Alpha in all his royalty. I felt like sneering but held myself, but I didn't give the indication that I had heard him come in. Tamia, he called, and I opened my eyes and looked at him. I felt like jumping on him and gouging his eyes out, but I remembered my promise to Aurora and held myself. How are you? He asked me, and I could not hold it anymore. I sneered and gave him the as if you care look and a shrug. I am sorry about the pain. I swear I didn't know. I guess I never learn about the mate bonds, and he sighed. It wasn't my intention to hurt you. Again, I kept mum. I didn't know him, nor did he owe me anything. He could be with anyone he wanted. But even Sasha was angry at him because she didn't say anything or show her initial excitement at the sight of him. Tamia, I am sorry that I didn't acknowledge our bond when I first felt it. It was because he told me this long story about this curse he has. He explained to me about how his mom died and how his father remarried, how he and Aurora were tortured and mistreated, and he ran away to protect his sister until he was old enough, how he fought and killed the witch who killed their mother and put his father under a spell. Though at that time, I hated my father. I thought that he hated us. It was after his death that I realized that he had also been bewitched. I was able to kill that witch, but she cast a curse on me. That curse makes me lust for blood every time the blood moon rises. It is almost here with us, and I wanted to find the one who would help me break it. I have looked for years, Tamia. Years. But I have never found her, he continued. He told me about his dreams and how he saw Didia, or what was her name again? Didia? Dadia? Arg. Whatever. Who cares? He blamed her for the mating because she got on heat and he was overwhelmed and he marked her. But I still want you because according to Black, apparently Black was his wolf's name. You are a true mate. I am ready to take you as my second mate. I hope you understand why I had to do it. I have to get rid of this curse so that I can fully take care of my family and my pack. And that includes you. So, Tamia, I have come to ask this of you. Will you agree to be my second mate? I looked at Killian like the idiot he was. He left me here even after knowing that I was his mate. He went, met another person, mated with her, and now he is back. He is asking me to be his second mate. What audacity. Anyway, I didn't want to argue with him. I was tired and I wanted him to take his ugly self. Okay. I know he wasn't ugly, but I'm angry out of my room. Look, Alpha, me and you don't know each other. I have nothing but gratitude towards you for saving me and giving me somewhere I can call home. I truly understand what you have been through and I sympathize with you. For my gratitude, I would do anything for you. I will be a maid for you. I will go to war for this pack. I will and can do anything, but I hesitated. I sighed and looked him straight in the eyes. I won't be your second mate. When Data and I returned, I was expecting Aurora to welcome me with happiness since I had found the girl I had been looking for all that long, but she wasn't happy. In fact, Aurora surprised me by telling me how Tamia went through a lot of pain as a result of me mating with Data, but I wish that they all could understand me. I needed to do this because Data is my savior. She's going to help me get rid of the damn curse, and I will finally be myself again. So. Aurora made me feel guilty to a point that I wished I didn't meet Data. But it was now done and all I could do was try and salvage what I could. That's how I found myself in Tamia's room. The first thought that came to my mind when I saw her was, damn, she's gorgeous. This was all hidden among the pain and scars and the malnutrition she was undergoing when I found her. Now that she had healed and was eating well, she was drop-dead gorgeous. Wow, I didn't even know what to say, and I smiled at the goddess for favoring me this much. When I knocked and entered the room, she didn't acknowledge me. I knew she knew it was me, and that was why she was so cold. Tamia, I called and she just looked at me and didn't say anything. Do I blame her for the cold treatment? No. I knew she hated me, if I was her, and she made me go through such kind of pain. I would hate her too. In fact, I would kill her. I talked with no to her, 'cause she wasn't saying anything. She was just looking at me, and when she finally talked, she said something neither I nor Black wanted to hear. Tamia didn't want us. She said that she understood. But she didn't want to be my mate. I could keep them both, Tamia and Data. I wanted to keep them both. I won't be the only or the first wolf to have more than one mate. There are several cases recorded in history. Anyway, I tried making her see sense, but she didn't want to. She totally refused to be with me and with Data. I felt angry. I was angry. Black was fuming. I wanted to kill her because if I couldn't be with her, then nobody else could. Never. I felt a rush of adrenaline rush in me and I wanted to kill someone. I wanted to shed blood. I looked at Tamia lying there on the bed looking all weak and I couldn't bring myself to hurt her. I roared and ran out. I wanted blood. I craved blood. I wondered what was happening to me. This was the exact same feeling I had when the blood moon was nearing, but we were still a few months ways. So, what was this? I went straight to where Data was because she could help me. My eyes were blood red, and I saw her smile. Oh, I thought I did the spell wrong, but it seems it went well, she said with a smile, and in my muddled head, I didn't understand what she meant. Data, you need to help me. I feel the blood rush now. It only happens when the blood moon is with us, and I don't understand why it is happening this early, I said, and she was still smiling. Sleep with me. After we mate, the urge will go away, she said and kissed me. I was at her mercy because I didn't want to kill anyone. I wanted this blood urge, this damned feeling, to go away, within minutes. We were rolling on the bed and I don't know why, but I felt like Black was not cooperating. He was hiding in the back of my subconscious. I did it with Data, but the more we did it, the more I felt like ripping something apart. I couldn't take the craving that was building up in me and I screamed while in her as I released my seed. I felt my head snap and I ran out. I wanted to kill something. Someone, anyone. This was not the freedom I was promised. For the first time since I became the alpha, I changed in the pack during daytime. For many wolves, they change during the full moon when they can't control it and when it is less painful. And they all walk on fours, but for us Lycans, we can change anytime, and we walk on twos. It's like a man with lots of hair all over the body. I thus changed and ran. I wanted to run away from here because I could still think, and I knew that if I stayed, I would hurt my own, and that was the last thing I needed. I didn't know for how long I ran or where I went. All I remember was me coming to covered all over with blood. I didn't know where I was or who it was I had killed. All I knew was that I wasn't craving for blood anymore, but I was sad. Wasn't Data supposed to help me quench all this? Then why? Why did it rise before time? I then remembered what she said that time when I went to her begging her to help me so that the bloodlust could go away. I thought I did the spell wrong, but it seems it went well. I started wondering what she meant. Could I have made a mistake like my sister said? No, I wasn't the type to do such a thing. I always considered things carefully before making a decision, and I couldn't have made a mistake with Data. All the signs were there. I then remembered my conversation with Tamia. Did she reject me? No, it wasn't rejection. She just said that she couldn't be with me. Maybe she didn't like the fact that she would be sharing me with someone else. But first things first, I needed to wash my body of all this blood and then go home and set everything right. For instance, I needed to know why what Data said didn't work. She was supposed to help me, and she told me that if I slept with her, the bloodlust feeling would go away. But instead of going away, it was amplified. This wasn't the deal. I even didn't know where I was, but I knew I could find my way home. I walked, and when I came across a stream, I washed myself and I tried reaching Kira, my beta, through our mind link. Where are you, my alpha? Kira asked. I wondered what to tell him because I didn't even know where I was, but the fact that I could reach him through the mind link meant that I wasn't far from home. I am coming back. Is everything well? In the pack? I didn't scare anyone when I changed. Did I? I asked him, just to make conversation. You better hurry up. I couldn't reach you through our link, though I am doing what I can. No, no one was scared, Carrie said with hesitation, and O knew he was lying. What's wrong? What's happening? Is everything okay? I asked because I could tell from Kira's voice that he was tired. You're sorry. Tamia has been going rampant. She wants to kill Data, Kira said, and I stopped. What? She's been doing what? I asked, though I wasn't angry. Yeah, she doesn't seem to be herself. I don't know how to put it. Right now, she's with Aurora. Just hurry up. Maybe you will be able to handle her, Kira said, and I wondered what was happening. I changed into my wolf again so that I could maybe smell our way home. As I was walking and running and walking and running, trying to find my bearings, I smelled rogues. The smell was a pungent one of dirt and unordinariness. I had directly walked into a rogue's territory. There were almost 100 of them, if not more, according to their eyes. They were hungry for a war and they seemed to be bitter at me, maybe because I was an alpha and they could tell that I was from a pack. When I saw them and the bloodlust in their eyes, mine rose again. I felt the thrill run through my blood and I felt my eyes turn red. I couldn't control Black. And he went on a killing spree. I loved it. I killed them with a smile and I liked what I was doing. Unlike the other times when I felt bad about killing, this time I liked it. I also remembered everything. I ripped their heads from their bodies with my bare hands and I loved it. I felt strong. That's when I knew I was gone. I couldn't help it and I couldn't stop Black. A part of me was telling me not to do it, but the biggest part loved it. This wasn't like me. I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. Something went right. It was time I found out what. I could not believe the audacity of that wolf. Who did he think he was? An alpha of his pack, yes. But the dictator of what happens in my life? Never. He left me here and went and mated with another woman and it almost cost me my life, and now he thinks that he could just waltz back in my life and suggest no, demand that we become one. Me, Tamia, a second wife to someone who was first mated to me. Never. The only reason why I didn't reject him outrightly was because I had promised Aurora. Yes, I understood him. I totally did. If I was in his shoes, I probably would have done the same. But asking me to be his second wife was beyond what I could take. When I told him that I could never be his second mate, I saw his eyes turn red and I clearly saw that he was angry at me. He almost jumped me and he made even Sasha whimper in fear. If there was anywhere else she could hide other than my subconscious, she could have done it. I stood my ground as I pretended to lie there all nonchalant, but I swear I was sweating in the inside. I knew. No. I know that I can never win against him in a battle, and if he had decided to get rid of me, there was nothing I could have done. When his eyes turned red and I could see the rage in his eyes, I felt the light the moon goddess input in my heart swirl. I felt it move and it was like it was pushing me to do something, but I didn't know what. It was like it was asking me to stand up, but I couldn't do it in front of a fuming alpha. I felt my body grow hot, and the heat was almost making my heart jump out. And when I was almost screaming to let it out, he ran very quickly and left the room. When Killian left me alone in that room, I felt like there was an incomplete task that I needed to do, and neither did I know what. I didn't know what, and I decided to relax and see if the heat would subside. It did, but it was for a while. The idiot did it again. After he left me, barely 10 minutes later, the same pain began again. I hate you, Alpha Killian. I hope you die. I screamed in pain as I felt my heart wrench. I wish that I was dead and gone because this was all too much. It didn't last long and the pain wasn't as intense because I felt like the heat in me and the bright light I could see through my subconscious was helping me. That light and the heat was calling to me, but I didn't know for what. I wanted to sleep after the pain had diminished, and I made a decision to make Aurora allow me to reject her brother. I couldn't take this anymore. They had given me a home, but if my rejection of him meant that I had to leave this pack, then I was ready. I didn't know where I would go or how I would survive all alone out there, but I would. Anything but this torture from the man who was supposed to shield me from any kind of pain. As I was willing myself to sleep, the door opened. Without knocking, and Aurora walked in. She seemed worried and she was almost at the brink of tears. What's wrong? What happened? I asked her worriedly because I cared for her the same way she cared for me. Tammy, it's happening. Early. My brother changed and ran towards the forest. I know he's going to kill. He lusts for blood. People will continue calling him a monster, she said, and I dragged my tired body out of bed and pulled her hand so that she could sit next to me on the bed. But, didn't he just tell me that it only happens during the blood moon? It isn't yet here yet. Also, he said that that woman was supposed to help him. It was more of a rhetorical question than a real one. He told me the same thing, and that was why I thought that whatever he did to you was justified. Then why? She also wondered, and I also didn't know what to think. What happens when he goes on the killing rampage? I asked Aurora because I needed to understand why she was so worried. Mostly, we make sure that he goes to areas filled with rogues and nowhere near a pack. If he attacks and kills a pack, that would mean that he went against the wolves' rules and he would be killed. In fact, if anyone knew that he had the curse, he would be sentenced to death because that's living with a ticking time bomb which could detonate anytime. We have been keeping it a secret and only a few people know about it. We could not risk the whole pack finding out that he was cursed because we would be left without any members. We let them all think that he was just fond of killing rogues, though this didn't even go well with those who think that even rogues could be rehabilitated, she explained, and I guess I now understood. Let's hope that it won't take him to a pack and that no one will find out. I consoled her because it was best I could do. I didn't know how else to help her. I think we should send a few trusted warriors like his beta to go look for him because I began suggesting when we were interrupted by a knock on the door. Whoever was knocking didn't wait to be invited in and just turned the lock and invited herself in. I hadn't seen this one and I wondered who she was, and I looked at Aurora. Which? A voice said, and I looked at Aurora again because I was sure I had heard it. Did you say anything? I asked her and she shook her head. What are you doing here? I heard Aurora ask the girl and I heard the sound again. Is it you? I asked Sasha and she said no. Which? I heard it for the third time and that's when I discovered that it was coming from inside of me, from the light in my heart to be precise. So, who was she? What was she doing here? Who is she? I asked Aurora because my heart refused to acknowledge. The girl. My name is Data and I am Alpha Killian's true mate, she said, and I almost sneered. Oh, so, you masked yourself as a wolf using witchcraft and you thought you could fool me? The sound was from within me, but it wasn't me speaking, neither was it Sasha. She flinched and moved back a bit and she seemed wary. Who are you? And what are you saying? She asked again and I knew the game she was playing. She wanted to imply that I was lying. Oh, come on, Kellen. It's Kellen, isn't it? That voice again, and there was fear now in the girl's eyes. Who are you? How? She stuttered, and I smiled eerily. I am your worst nightmare, I said, and I laughed this dry laugh without any mirth in it with my head thrown up. Tammy, are you all right? What are you saying? Aurora asked me and I looked at her. She isn't a wolf, neither is she your brother's savior. She's a witch. Isn't that right? Daughter of Adina? I asked her with a smile and she froze. You? Who are you? She asked again, but Aurora was also speaking. Adina? Adina as in my step mother Adina? The woman who killed my mother, bewitched my father and cursed my brother. That Adina? She asked and I looked at her with pity. Was it really me? I am not sure even. This voice wasn't mine, but it was me speaking. I didn't know how. I knew all this information, but I did. I was sure of what I was saying. Yes, I said as I looked at Aurora like a mother looking at her beloved child. I will kill you today and let Killian free, I said as I pounced on her and Aurora stood in my way, giving her the chance to escape. You can't let her escape or your brother will never be free, I said, and I guess Aurora realized that she was holding the wrong person. She let go of me and ran after Data, and I heard her shouting to other wolves to hold her. I didn't run. I felt like I was too important to run. So I waked leisurely towards the center of the noise. As I walked, I saw other wolves running towards the center of the compound where meetings were held, and I walked towards that area. There, at the center of the arena, was Data being restrained by 4 beta wolves. Tie her hands well. She might use them to perform magic, I shouted, and everyone turned to look at me wondering what I meant. Do as she says, Aurora said, and someone came with mittens and she was forced to wear them as she was tied with strings in a way that she couldn't move her fingers. Aurora, I am your brother's mate. Aren't you supposed to believe me and protect me? Data, or should I call her Kellen, said, and I laughed. Wow. She thought family bonds would move Aurora. But I believe in her more than I do you, Aurora said, referring to me, and I felt my heart swell with pride. Any final words, bitch? I said as I walked towards where she had been laid after being tied up. Ever since my brother brought Tamia to live with us, I have known her as a peaceful, quiet girl. I have never seen or heard her act rashly. She is always composed. Take for example the day I took her to start training. Many wolves were very bitter that I had taken an Omega for training. They said it before her and Tamia just stood there. She didn't say anything at all. She just waited for us to discuss and make the final decision. But today, it wasn't like her. She was. How do I put it? It was like she was high on something. After my brother and I talked, I saw him go to Tamia's room, and I won't lie, I eavesdropped on their conversation. I wanted to hear whether two of my favorite people would end up together, but I was wrong. After my brother explained himself, I understood him and I wanted Tamia for him, but if this data was his savior, I was going to try and understand him. After explaining everything to Tamia, she just coolly told him that she understood but they couldn't be together. I also understood her, and at this point, I wonder whose side I should take. Tamia has become like the little sister I never had, and like me, she has been mated to a horse twice. I knew the reason why she didn't say the rejection vow to my brother was because she had promised me not to. But that made her suffer, because immediately after that, my brother went straight to Data and they had sex. It was very loud and messy. I have this thought that that woman was shouting all these erotics to make sure that the pack knew that she was with Killian now. I don't know how to feel about her, because it is definitely not love. From the first time I saw Tammy, that's my nickname for her, and she calls me R. Cute. And right. Anyway, from the first time I saw her, I had this strong urge to protect her, and that's what I have been doing. But this Data raises feelings of hatred in me and I really can't explain why. So, when she ran out of Tamia's room screaming murder, I was actually happy. Finally, Tamia was fighting for what was hers. At that moment, Kira and I were trying to find out where my brother ran off to. Ever since we discovered that Aida had thrown a curse at my brother 7 years ago as she died, we have been trying to keep it low. That is why every time the blood moon is here, and it has happened 3 times and this would be the 4th one, we make sure that he goes very far from any type of civilization. We were unable to contain him, because at that time, not even the strongest of silver chains or even Wolfsbane could hold him. We know that if my brother were to attack and kill any members of our pack, it would be a problem and the whole wolf world would demand his execution. For instance, the few people who found out what happened started calling him all sorts of names, including monster, murderer, abomination, among many others. Those who didn't want to listen to reason were taken care of, and that is why we try our best not to let any more people than necessary find out, and the fact that he told Tamia about it means that he holds her in a very high regard. So, Tamia was resting and I was with her as I waited for a report from Kira. That woman knocked lightly on Tamia's door and came in looking all important even without waiting to be invited in. I saw a different kind of woman when Tamia saw Aida. It couldn't be more clear that she had come to gloat and show Tamia that she was the woman Killian chose. But I don't know what happened to Tamia, because I swear the voice that came out of her wasn't hers. She accused Data of being a fake. Tamia said that Data was using magic and that she had cast a spell on herself to make everyone think that she was a wolf, and she wasn't. Tamia said a lot of things, but my mind got stuck where she said that Data was actually called Kellen and she was Aida's daughter. I obviously hate a few people in this world, but at the top of the list is Aida. She was my father's second wife and she killed my mom. She made mine and my brother's life a living hell, to a point that when my brother was old enough, we had to run away. I actually blamed my father, but we later came to realize that she had put a spell on him. Remind me again why witches and wolves can't see eye to eye? Anyway, when Tamia said that, I saw Dad's face change and I knew then that Tamia was saying the truth. That woman tried turning the truth around, but Tamia spat out fact after fact. This made Data run out screaming that Tamia wanted to kill her. It was true anyway, because Tamia said that she would kill the imposter. When I saw her run, I knew she might cause damage by killing people the way her mother did the night she died. So, I ran after her while asking the guard warriors to capture her. And they did. I guess she never foresaw this coming and she wasn't ready. Go search her room. In fact, bring all her belongings here. I ordered, as I ordered others to tie her hands the way Tamia said, to prevent her from throwing any spell at us. You can't kill me. I am your Luna, she said, and I laughed at that. No, you aren't, darling. To be a Luna, the alpha must tell the whole pack, and you must have had the mating ceremony before everyone during a full moon. Also, everyone in the pack must accept you, and it's obvious at least Tamia and I don't, I said, and she frowned. I bet she didn't know that. She thought that just being brought to the park and having Killian's mating mark qualified her as a Luna. Was she even strong enough? By the way, another thing that made me believe that Tamia was telling the truth was the way my brother behaved immediately after coming out of his room. He changed in the middle of the pack, something he never does. This is because he knows that he is a Lycan, and since many wolves fear them, he usually doesn't want to scare our pack members. He changed and ran out, and I knew that he looked the way he looked that first night when the blood moon curse struck. That was why I summoned Kira. and other warriors to make sure that he was okay and clean up after him. So Data was captured and tied, and she was now kneeling in the middle of the pack training grounds where she had run to. She was crying foul, spitting all kinds of insults, but I didn't care. I was in charge now, and she would be treated the way I deemed fit. I hated her anyway, if not for the fact that I feared that it was true that she was my brother's savior. She would be dead already. Tell us the truth. Who are you and what do you want in our pack? I asked her, and she laughed. I am Data. I am his mate and his savior. I am going to save him from his damned curse and make sure that the whole world knows about it, she said, and I wondered what she meant by that. So, you are going to expose him? I asked her. I was buying time. As I waited for the people I sent to pick her things. I have talked to Killian. He's okay and he has said that he is on his way. Kira told me, and I released a breath. I couldn't be happier that he was okay. The 2 girls I had sent to get Daida's things from the room she was to be sharing with my brother returned. And they weren't actually carrying much. It was a small old bag. She hadn't even stayed here for long, and I doubted that she would make it through the day. It was funny how all her plans went down the drain. The girls I had sent were the ones who cleaned our quarters, and they thus knew Killian's rooms well. I ordered them to throw the things on the ground, and they did. First. It was just clothes, and then Tamia spoke again. There is a secret compartment at the left side of the bag. Still, it was that voice that wasn't Tamia's. They checked, and true to her word, it was there. You, that's not mine. You must have put it there, Data said, and I sneered. Aw, when did she put it there and what is it? Afraid now, are we? And by the way, I suggest you speak before my brother gets here, because I tell you this, I am much more merciful than he is, I said, and Data laughed. Her laugh was eerie. It was this long, dry, mirthless laughter that made goosebumps rise all over one's body. I did not like it. Our training. They said it before her, and Tamia just stood there. She didn't say anything. She just waited for us to discuss and make the final decision. But today, it wasn't like her. She was. How do I put it? It was like she was high on something. I looked at Data and realized that if she hadn't been busted early and we allowed her to stay in our pack, she would bring nothing but trouble. She was trouble. What if I am? What will you do about it? She asked as she started to change. The chains that were holding her started to melt, and they fell to the ground. She became another woman, and she was older and uglier than the appearance she was wearing there before. Yes, I am Kellen, but so what? You lot killed my mother and I am here for revenge. You can't help it. I already sent him to the lion's den and he isn't going to come back alive, she said, and by then, she was spreading her arms all over as if she was going to throw a spell any time. Oh, he is going to come back. Believe me, Tamia said, and that made Data turn towards her. He isn't. He is in a maze of my own making. You think because he's talking to you that he's okay? No, he isn't. I did that to make him think that he is okay and he is coming home soon. But he is going to fight rogues endlessly until he is tired and killed. That blood curse is going to take him. And you lot will be the last people I kill. I will make sure that none of you remains. I will bury Midnight Pack today, she said as she stomped and the ground cracked. Many wolves who had come to watch, including me, were standing on the way, and a good thing was that we have fast reflexes. Also, Tamia was there to help. I don't know how she did it, but one time, a few were falling into the abyss created by Data, Kellen, and the next, they were floating in light. When I turned to see where the light was coming from, it was from Tamia. I thought she was a wolf, but anyway, now wasn't the time. Stop that. Data screamed as she threw a ball of fire towards Tamia, who caught it easily and returned it to Data, who moved away quickly and in surprise. Tammy, wait. There is something I need to know, I told Tamia, and she moved so quickly that one moment she was standing beside me and the next, she was beside Data. Tamia used light. That's what I am calling it because I don't know what else to call it. She used light and bound Data so quickly that she didn't know what had happened. Tamia then waved her hands in these flashy circular motions and the ground returned to how it was. Data, I need to know, if you aren't my brother's savior, how come he dreamed of you? He saw your back. I needed to know. Ha ha ha. That eerie laugh again. He is such an idiot. It was hard work for me to send him the dreams and make sure that I remained as mysterious as I could. It tasked me a lot and I had to learn for years. And it paid off. I used a lot of energy and it was all worth it. I knew for sure that no one in this world would be able to cure him of the curse, but he didn't know that. That's why he believed that the girl whose back he saw would be able to help him. Idiot. He left his mate here and came looking for me. I had to make sure that I got him out of here, and it was time we met when that damned woman came here. I enjoyed following him around and seeing how his hopes were dashed and crashed every time. It was all me, and for killing my mother and the whole of my family. He's going to die the worst way possible. Even if you guys are able to get him out of that maze, how will you explain that he exterminated a whole pack? Data asked with a smile that said that she was the winner, and I felt my heart freeze. Finally, what we had been fearing had finally happened. Killian had killed a whole pack. There was no turning back and, oh goddess. Tamia then moved and tapped Daida's glabella and then stretched her hand as if she was pulling something from Daida's head, and Data screamed, "What are you doing? Stop it." Data cried, but Tamia continued. It was then that I saw it. What Tamia was pulling looked like a very thin orangish string, and we all noticed it. When it started forming a small ball in her hand, it looked like swirling frames of fire when she was done. The ball was the size of a grown man's fist, and by the time Tamia was done, Data lay there motionless, looking all lost. "What have you done?" Data asked weakly. "Making sure that you don't hurt anybody else," Tamia said simply, and she blew the ball in her hand and it floated away in millions of small lights that looked like fireflies, and they then dissipated into the cool air. Data was now crying, "Kill me then. Just kill me. You have taken my powers away. How do you expect me to survive? Just kill me." She tried to be tough, but it looked laughable. "Oh, sweetie, you will die. But all in good time. All in good time." And Tamia said, "Throw her in prison. We need to save Killian first," Tamia told me, and I commanded the guards and they did so. "She's weaker than a human now. You don't have to be worried," Tamia said, reading my mind. I was wondering what would happen if Data managed to run away while we were away. "Let's change and go for your brother," Tamia said, and I held onto her. "Tammy, you are weak already. Do you really need to go? Why don't you remain here and take care of the pack while we go bring him?" I asked her because I cared. I remembered that she had just been through pain a few hours back due to what my brother did, and she exerted herself while dealing with Data. She needed rest. "Do you know where he is?" she asked me, and I kept quiet. "That's something I hadn't thought about." "Let's change," she said and walked into her room. I loved this decisive Tamia. She looked so hot. Anyway, we changed into our warrior uniforms and started strategizing, with Tamia being the lead. Our uniforms are all dark, body-tight leather suits for both males and females. We like these ones because even if we were to change into our wolf forms, they don't tear and stretch with the body. They are so comfy, and they took the pack scientists a long time to make to perfection. Another thing, they are so warm, and they are thus able to help us even in areas of extreme cold. Anyway, with Tamia's help, it was easy to pinpoint where Killian was in the huge forest. According to what Data had said, Killian was in a maze where he couldn't get out, and he kept meeting with one group of rogues after another. She wanted to exhaust him so that he could die finally, even after trying to fight for his life. I wondered where all the rogues came from, but there was no telling when it came to a witch. They are full of surprises, these ones. Anyway, we changed into our forms, and for the first time, I discovered how majestic Tamia looked in her wolf form. She was so huge and beautiful, and she was all silver. Her fur was silver, her eyes were, and even her paws. Then, another amazing thing was that she wasn't an omega. Tamia gave off the scent and appearance of a beta. "I thought that you are an omega. Haven't you always been an omega?" I asked her because it was hard to rein in my curiosity. "I always have been since the day I turned," she answered, and I figured that we would find out later. For now, first things first, and that was Killian's safety. We all run following Tamia, who seemed to know where she was going. When I wanted to die and Killian saved me, I had this thought that I would do it again because I had no will left to live. But coming to this pack has taught me that even though I've been wrongly accused and tortured, life was still beautiful. I found my reason to live. I had a friend in Aurora, and the whole of this pack accepted me. I had a home again, and it was my duty to fight for my pack now. That is why I wanted to rescue our alpha. Or was it? As we ran towards the forest, I wasn't even sure of how I knew these things. Maybe the moon goddess was right. Maybe my purpose in this life was far much greater than what I thought. For example, when I first met Data, I was able to tell that she was wearing a disguise. She wasn't who she had told everyone she was. I saw beyond the veil she had cast on herself to hide the older, ugly woman beneath the facade she had created. I felt powerful, and I was. The light that the moon goddess put in my heart now made sense. The statement she said about me saving her children also made sense now. If this was the power she bestowed on me, I didn't see why I wouldn't eradicate evil. I also discovered that maybe I was not an Omega but a Beta. A silver Beta at that. This was because I was doing things an Omega couldn't do. I was fast and strong, but before I could think of eradicating any evil, I had to save Killian first. If I was asked whether I still wanted him as a mate or not, I wouldn't know what or how to answer. I was still bitter that he mated with another, but I also knew that it wasn't his fault. He had been beguiled and had fallen into Daida's trap the way she had wanted. So, should I blame Killian for being gullible? Or Data for preying on his weakness? Can you still sense him? R asked, and I didn't answer. Something in me wanted to snap at her, but I held myself because I knew she was just worried about her brother. Just a bit further, and you all better follow my lead. I am here to save Killian. And if any one of you thinks themselves a warrior and steps into Kellen's maze, I am not saving them. I told them because I could read their minds. Not all of them had faith in me. Also, not all of them came here willingly. Most came because Killian's Beta and their princess asked them to. I am pretty sure that if they were given a chance, they would have asked a lot of questions. Like why they should trust me. As we ran, I detected a trap up ahead. I raised my hand as a gesture for them to stop. They stopped and one warrior spoke. What's wrong? Should we not keep going to save the Alpha? I looked at him like the idiot he was, and since this wasn't Aurora and he was no one to me, if you are in such a hurry, why don't you go ahead? I told him sarcastically, and he lowered his head. There's a trap up ahead. If we decide to go around it, we would lose precious time. Let me see what it is and whether I can be able to dismantle it, I said, and another spoke. But we can't see or detect anything. We are trained to detect even hidden traps, and there isn't anything there. Are you sure that you aren't just trying to act all heroic and just keep us here? Do you really care about the Alpha? He asked, and I swear my patience was running thin. Oh, congratulations on learning how to detect traps. Please lead us then, I said, and stepped aside. I didn't mind making someone act a fool. He would serve as a lesson to the others, and at least, the questioning would stop. Let me show you how. It is done, he said, and stepped forward. Oh, I had forgotten to tell them that this wasn't the normal hunter's trap for game. This was a trap by that witch to prevent anyone wanting to get to Killian. He walked in front of us and I saw him walk into that magic wall and he disappeared before our very eyes. Carl? Carl? They started shouting in panic, calling for him, and Aurora spoke before I could. No need to bother. He had been warned. You all have been told by Tamia that this forest is full of traps because Data had made sure that the Alpha wasn't coming out alive. If you think you can't trust me and my judgment, walk back. Didn't keep making things harder. For Tamia, she needs to save our Alpha, she said, and I almost gawked. I didn't think that Aurora had it in her, right now. She was displaying the aura of a leader. From there on, no one questioned me again. That moment, even if I told them to jump, they would have jumped. This was because they saw me undo a lot of the magical traps Data had placed all over. I don't like the girl, but I will give it to her. She was strong. For her to be able to manipulate Killian even in dreams, and even set such sophisticated traps all around and summon all those rogues, she was good. I will give her that. But she wasn't as good as the goddess though. These powers were all thanks to the moon goddess. I didn't know what I would have done if I hadn't encountered her. I continued leading them as I undid the traps until we heard Killian groan as he killed more rogues. I can hear him, Rora said with a relieved smile. The last trap that was the core of the whole maze was more complicated than the others. I could see where she had placed her magical flag and the dark spiritual energy swirling all over it. I need to uproot that flag so as to clear the fog and the veil hiding us from him, I said, and Aurora looked at me like I was a god. What flag? She asked, and looking around, it seemed like I was the only one who could see it. Never mind, I said, as I walked towards it and tried it. With my bare hands, I was repelled by the energy, and I am sure that if it was any other person, they would have been thrown meters away. I then coated my palm with the powers that were still swirling in me, and I tried touching it again. The dark energy sizzled and refused to move. I wondered why the trap was still active. Having in mind that I had taken Kellen's powers, this meant one thing. She wasn't working alone, or she had gotten the help of another witch. I pumped more energy into my palm and pushed harder as I tried to get near the flag so that I could uproot it. The battle continued for a while, and due to the strain that both powers were producing, the dark, swirling energy cracked. and I took that chance. As my right hand continued pushing against the magical barrier, I put my other hand through the crack and very quickly went for the flag. I felt my fingers round the base of it, and I pulled, immediately. It was out of the ground. The magical barrier lifted, and it was like there was no lights in a room and someone just switched it on. Even Killian, whom we saw all bloody surrounded by dead bodies, seemed like he had just woken up. Brother, are you okay? Aurora asked as she ran towards him and hugged his weak body. The other warriors, led by Killian's beta, went to help her and they carried him. Let's go, Tamia, Aurora called to me when she saw that I wasn't following them back. It's okay. I am right behind you, I said and smiled at her to reassure her. I wanted to clear the mess Killian had made. I was exhausted. I kept fighting and I could tell that it was a losing battle. Yes, I was very strong, but my strength wasn't inexhaustible. I could feel that I was at the end of my powers. I knew if the rogues kept coming like this, I would eventually die. I had nowhere to run to or to hide because I didn't even know where I was. I seemed to be moving in an unending circle. By then, I would have been a fool if I didn't realize that there was dark magic at work. What I didn't understand was why and whose. After talking to Kira and him asking me to get home soon, I knew something must be off. Could someone be keeping me here so as to raid my pack? I wondered, but I wasn't worried. I had confidence in Kira and Aurora. After what seemed like days of fighting and my strength was waning, I saw them, my family, my pack members, my sister. I thought it was a dream as I let myself fall in exhaustion. It was like I had been closed off in a dark cell and someone had opened the door. I saw Tamia, but she was standing a bit far from where I was. I wanted to talk to her, but it was like she didn't even want to see me. I tried calling her, but even that was gone. I could not speak. Let's go, Tamia, I heard my sister call to her. You go ahead. I am right behind you, I heard her reply, and they left. They just left her there. I wanted to tell them that they can't just leave her. She was just a weak Omega. What if those rogues returned and killed my mate? But I didn't have the strength. The last thing I remember was Kira and another beta carrying me in a makeshift stretcher, and then I lost consciousness. I had a dream. I dreamt that Tamia had helped me break my curse, but she had refused to marry me. She kept blaming me for sleeping with another person, and I had no excuse for that. On the other hand, Data kept telling me that it was okay and that she and I were good without Tamia. I didn't love Data the same way I loved Tamia, and I was thus in a dilemma. I was crying non-stop in my dream as I watched Tamia reject me. Due to Tamia's rejection, even Black rejected me, and I was now wolfless. This was a situation that I couldn't take. I had been used to being an alpha and a Lycan at that. So, me being wolfless and without my mate made me feel like dying. I screamed in pain, and that's when I woke up to someone shaking me awake. I was sweating buckets. It was Aurora. Brother, are you okay? She was asking, and I looked at her. So I was sleeping? I asked her, and she nodded her head. I felt relief wash over me as I smiled. I was scared there for a second. Where is Tamia? Was the first question that came out of my mouth. In her room. She seems exhausted, and she's also sleeping. You have been out for 2 whole days. Get a shower, and I will have the maids bring you your food. I will go see whether Tamia is awake or not, Aurora said, and I could tell from her tone that she was not happy with me. I wondered what it was, but I was hungry, and I wanted to be myself when I talked to her. After she left, I dragged myself into the bathroom and I took a cold shower. Someone had bathed me, but I could still smell the blood from all those wolves I killed. I scrubbed myself as I rinsed like 4 times until there was no trace of the fight left. I then wore a simple get-up. I wanted to talk to Tamia, and I couldn't do it dressed as an Alfie, thus dressed simply to show her that I was talking to her like her mate, on the same level with her. After I showered, just like Aurora had said, I was called to go eat. On my dining table, there was a selection of delicacies and there was medicine. Welcome, Alpha. After you eat, please take this medicine. The doctor made it for you, a maid said as he bowed, and they all left me after I made a shooing gesture. I wanted to be alone, but I also wanted to know what happened. Kira, I called my beta and he replied immediately. Yes, Alpha. He was breathing heavily and I wondered what he was doing. What are you doing? I asked him. I'm training the new batch of warriors. Do you need anything? He asked. Should I take him out of training or not? Yes, come to my quarters, and my curiosity won. If there was someone who would tell me the truth without sugarcoating it, it was Kira. I chose him as my beta, and he was thus bound to be faithful and loyal to me and me only. That's why he was so protective of me because according to wolf rules, if an alpha dies, his beta dies as well, and the opposite was also true. We were bound by the oath we took. We thus were obliged to take care of one another. I ate quickly so that by the time Kira got here, I would be through. I wanted to know what happened and where Data was since I hadn't seen even a whiff of her since I woke up. She was all over me for the past 1 or so week, and it was unlike her not to be here beside me. As I was finishing up, Kira walked in. He looked freshly groomed, and I knew he had just taken a shower to wash away the sweat from the training. How are the new warriors? Any potential there? I asked because as the alpha, it was my duty to make sure that the pack was safe always. Yes. In fact, I dare say that this year we have the best trainees ever. Most of them seem to be inspired by Tamia. They all want to be like her. They are working really hard, he said, and I wondered why. Tamia, seems like I have really missed a lot. So, care to fill me in? I asked him. Of course. But where to start? He sat down as he tapped his chin with his index finger, thinking. He then took a sausage and started munching on it, seemingly in deep thought. I didn't know if he was joking or if he was being serious. I have been out for at least 2 days, isn't it? Don't tell me that a lot happened during that time, I said. I was now really curious. What happened? How did they find me? Where was Tamia in all this? And Data? Much more than you could imagine. In fact, Kira said, then fill me in. Start anywhere. I pushed. By the time Kira was through with telling me everything, I didn't know what to think. It was like he was talking about the events that happened to someone else and not me. I felt like an idiot. Black had insisted that Tamia was our mate, but I was so determined to find my savior that I fell into a hellhole. I sat there wondering where to start in fixing this mess. Daida's plan had been well planned and well orchestrated. She was good. Very good indeed, seeing that I fell into it with both feet. She had me where she wanted, and I wondered where I would be right now hadn't I found Tamia that day in the sea. I actually can't tell what drove me to save her because that was out of character for me, but I did. I am the kind of a person who minds my own business, but something drove me to save her that day despite the fact that I was on a mission and in a hurry at that because I was rushing against the blood moon. Now, I am sure that it was the moon goddess leading me, but I was so blind to see it. So, where is Data right now? I asked because I wanted to squeeze the life out of her. In a dungeon. Tamia ordered for her to be kept there because she would be needed for a ritual. Kira said, ritual? What ritual? I asked, surprised that they were planning for a ritual without my knowledge. Were we to perform any ritual? I really don't know. Maybe Aurora can explain it better. Or better, why don't you ask Tamia? Kira suggested, and I just didn't want to tell him what was running through my mind. I was afraid of meeting with Tamia. Not only was I afraid but also embarrassed. Where would I begin if I met her? What do I tell her? That I had been beguiled? But how would I explain the fact that I left her knowing that she was my mate and went and bonded with Data? Hell, I even marked her. I even suggested that I marry her besides Data. For shame. Would she be willing to listen? I don't know, and I was afraid to find out. Kira could read my emotions and he knew exactly what I was thinking. You will have to do it eventually, and the faster you do it, the better. Don't procrastinate. She might never forgive you if you take long to talk to her. Better to strike while the iron is still hot, Kira said, and I knew he was right. But where do I get the guts to face her? I thought that it was better to talk to Aurora first so that I could strategize on how to approach Tamia. Call me Aurora. I don't know what will happen this blood moon if Tamia refuses to help me, but I have to try. Just make sure that the warriors are ready for anything. And Kira. I looked into his eyes so that he could see that I was damn serious. If this doesn't work out and I turn again on that day, put me down, prepare thousands of guns with wolfsbane, or even cut my head off. I do not care because I can't do this anymore, I said, and Kira didn't say anything. He just walked out as if I hadn't said anything at all. After a while, the maids came in to clear the table, and then Aurora came in shortly after. She seemed very angry at me, and I still hadn't figured out why. Why are you angry at me? You've been showing it since I woke up, and I really don't know what I did to warrant that, I asked her. Because I hated it when my sister and I weren't in good terms, she sneered, then sat down on the chair facing me. We were still at the dining table. You really don't know, do you? You really can't tell? Aurora began, and I looked at her with a questioning gaze. If I could tell, I would not have asked. You hurt Tamia. You brought a witch in our midst. She almost killed you. She almost killed all of us. I feel like killing you myself. Then I remember that you also didn't know. You were beguiled and we all believed those dreams. But anyway, let's thank the goddess that Tamia is here with us, she said, and she was right. I was also angry at myself because I feel like I should have realized that it was strange the way I met Data. I met her just a few days after rescuing Tamia, but at that time, I really couldn't think, because all I was occupied with was finding the one who would save me from the approaching blood moon.